What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Our Brains Hurt. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We have a show in a couple days. This Wednesday, July 24th at Atlas Brewworks in Washington, D.C. We are hosting the Dolly Rots with Soraya and DC's very own curse words. That's this Wednesday, July 24th. Head over to Atlas Brewworks for tickets, and we will see you there. Now, let's get to the show.
Well, they needed a jingle for their stupid little show, so they called up the Jasons and we said, fuck no. Then they called us again and they gave us $20 and we wrote them a song that said, your podcast sucks. Then they gave us more money and they asked us really nice and we finally gave in and we said, alright, I'll write you a song, but it's gonna be a clone of a Screeching Weasel song that we heard a while ago. So we wrote them a jingle and it sounded really rad. It was the best little jingle that their podcast ever had, but the file got corrupted and the email didn't work. Now they're stuck without a jingle singing Our Brains Hurt. Our brains hurt, our brains hurt, our brains hurt. Our brains hurt, our brains hurt, our brains hurt. Our brains hurt, our brains hurt, our brains hurt. Our brains hurt, our brains hurt, our brains hurt. In a very non-copyright infringing sort of way.
Tonight, we are talking to Iron Roses, specifically
Yes.
Nathan and Becky.
Yes.
Um,
Very excited for this because they are a rad band. And
oh my God, so good. That album is, I was driving home from New York yesterday. Yes, yesterday. And I was like, I played it like 3 or 4 times in a row. It's so
Great. It's
fucking
great.
good.
Yeah, and on top of that, like Nathan used to front Voice That's Fire, who I loved in the 90s and the early 2000s.
Well, I didn't know that until you told me that. And then when I got home, I went on a 5-mile walk for some exercise. And I listened to was it after the eulogy?
Yes, which is a fantastic
Dude, that album, and I was getting goosebumps listening to it because in the late 90s, when did I graduate? I graduated college in 99, so it was like right around then. I was fucking obsessed with that album.
Yeah.
And somebody stole it. We had a show in our basement. We used to have shows in our basement, and I used to like put CDs out and play CDs between the sets.
Yeah.
And one night somebody stole that CD. I was so mad.
It's such a good record. Like I was glued to that record for years.
Oh, it's amazing.
And I think we probably need to get that out of the way very early tonight and move on to Iron Roses. This is about Iron Roses, but I definitely want to say thank you for some great music in my formative years. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Everything I haven't seen Iron Roses live, but everything I've heard, I can't wait.
Yeah. And according to their Bandcamp, they're from Maryland.
Voice That's Fire was from Delaware. So
No shit, really? Okay. I didn't know that. I always assume that if they're rad, they're from LA.
Or at least that. No, or at least they formed in Delaware.
Okay. Yeah.
They may have based themselves out of Maryland after that, but yeah, I know they're from this area because Pedro Ada, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He lives in Richmond and he's in Iron Roses too. So
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, they are in the room. We're gonna let them in.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Hey, what's up?
We're like orangutans. They don't know how to use technology.
Yeah, Zoom is it'd be nice if they just make it a 1-button thing, but it's gotta be like a 3-button thing. How you doing?
Good. How are you? Look, there's a Jack Skellington.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Ron's current background is way better than mine.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but yeah.
Well, thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you.
So Matt and I were talking, I just drove home from New York yesterday visiting my mother and some other family. And I played your record like 3 or 4 times in a row and I just couldn't. It's so fucking rad. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. And we're going to get into the many things Iron Roses, but first we also wanted to say thank you for Voice That's Fire because it was huge.
Yeah.
Thank you, Becky.
Pulled it in that band.
Yeah. Thank you, Nathan. Both of us were such big Voice That's Fire fans in the 90s and early 2000s. And so thank you very much for some rad music during our formative years.
No problem.
Yeah.
Are you guys from Maryland? I saw it says Elkton in the okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally from Elkton, Maryland. You know, everyone knows Elkton, Maryland.
Yeah, when you think punk rock, you think LA, New York, and Elkton. So
Exactly.
Elkton, Maryland. Yes.
100%.
are you guys originally from Maryland?
No. Well, I mean,
We have
you're-
different stories.
Yeah, we do have.
Yeah.
different
Okay.
stories.
Well,
You're
one thing that we like to ask people when they first come on the show is, where are you from and how did you first get into punk rock? Because it's usually a pretty cool story. So
Yeah.
even if it's not cool, we still want to know.
Okay, I'll do it first. Okay, let's see. I am originally from Delaware, which is just over the state line. Like in Maryland and Newark, Delaware are like right here. So,
Mhm.
but you know, if you listen to Boy Sets Fire, obviously Newark, Delaware was a big theme on things that we did. Because we thought it was funny because there were so many bands like repping like New York and stuff, and we're like Newark, Delaware, like it mattered. Like so came from Delaware and I've lived sort of over and across the border several times, like as most people around here do.
Mhm.
If you live in Elkton, Maryland, Newark, Delaware, or Landenberg, Pennsylvania, you've lived in all three. Like it happened.
Yeah.
So let's see. First getting into punk rock though, had to have been in like 8th grade. Before that, I was listening to like Poison and Autograph and Rat and like, you know, kind of like hair metal stuff. Like I was really into that. And I know, shocking.
Yeah.
I was a big hair metal guy too.
Very into the glam of it. You know? Weird. But it was probably 8th grade, and there was a senior named Gordon. I will never forget this person because he was the guy that was the punk kid at school, and I was just like, oh my god, he's so cool, you know.
Yeah.
And he made me a tape that on one side had Black Flag in my head, and the other side had the first Violent Femmes album.
Oh, good.
Very confusing because those are very different versions of, but that's what was so cool about it. And I kept getting stuff from him that was like all over the place. So he was like my go-to for that stuff. And then also my cousin who was living in Orlando at the time was like, oh wait, you're getting into punk here, let me send you a bunch of stuff. Because that was sort of the thing then, you know, people would get stoked if you got into punk and they're like, oh my God, let me send you all my favorite bands, you know? So like Dead Kennedys, Fear, Black Flag, like any of that stuff during the time. And it really went from there and took off, obviously, and became a thing that that's what I base my life around.
What was the scene like where you grew up? And do you remember the first punk show you went to? Was it a local show or was it?
Yes, I do.
Story.
This is a funny story. So Black Flag's last tour before they broke up as what they were, I think it was like 84 or something like that. I snuck out of the house because that guy Gordon was going to him and this guy Pete that I looked up to were going to this Black Flag show. I snuck out of the house, went to this Black Flag show, left probably after 2 songs because I was terrified.
Yeah.
I was like, I had no idea what to expect. And I was so stoked on the music, but I went in and like Henry Rollins in that Manson hair and the little shorts and like the bottle flew across the room. Like it was horrifying. Like I was like oh no, this isn't what I wanted. This isn't what I like ran out. Like I was like a little like Christian kid, you know, my dad was a pastor, like all this shit. Like this was terrifying. I was sheltered. I had not experienced this. So ran back home and probably prayed myself and cried myself to sleep.
Which in retrospect, you were probably half terrified, half turned on.
A little bit. I mean, they both sort of go hand in hand, you know?
Totally, yeah.
So, shut up. But she's not wrong.
Yeah.
But then after that, it was funny. I didn't go see another punk show until a few years later. There was this skate contest where Screeching Weasel played, and they played and judged the skate contest, which was hilarious because they give a fuck. Like he's having fun, so he wins, you know?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Ben Weasel turned out to be a complete fucking douche, but there were some good songs, and that was a fun experience, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's my story.
Where was that show? Was that in Philly?
Oh, I'm sorry, Pensacola, Florida.
Oh, it was in Pensacola.
So I grew up in Newark, Delaware until I was about 11. And then my dad, well, my parents were both going to, I don't know, Jesus school down in Florida.
Gotcha.
And so we moved down there. And it was during that time is when I discovered punk rock.
Okay,
was
cool.
8th grade, you know.
And Becky?
I am not from around here. I moved here being Elkton, Maryland. I live 2 doors away from Nathan right now. I moved here right before the pandemic, so late 2019. I bounced around a lot as a kid. I grew up a military brat, but I graduated high school, and most of my like formative years, to use a term we've already used once, because why not use it again? In Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
So I did not come up in the punk scene. That was not a place that I felt I belonged much. Why are you laughing?
Because that come up in the punk. Never mind.
Good
Go,
God,
just
girl.
stop.
Already.
Yeah. Go.
I grew up in like I was a theater brat, and I liked big power, like Pat Benatar and Heart, like big power, like 80s
Hell yeah.
female singers. Like that's the shit that like pulled me along. But yeah, like even into my like late teens and early 20s, like I never went to a lot of punk shows because I came from a place of like just feeling like I didn't belong in them. And so I think sometimes I still feel that way. Like when we were at Punk Rock Bowling, I was like, do they know I'm not cool here? Like, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm 46. Yeah. Like, what am I here for? But yeah, so I don't have like a quote unquote punk come up story. Mostly just came out of a bunch of nerdy spaces and tripped into a punk band, and here I am.
Do you remember your first punk show?
What was the first show that we played?
Oh my God. That is not true. That is not true.
No,
Go
ahead.
Pat Benatar was kind of punk rock. Like,
let's be real.
Yeah.
Come on.
I still emulate that shit. Like when we write, like sometimes I'll hit notes and I'm like, yeah, I still got it. Yeah, I got it there. My first show. What did we? It was now I'm blanking out. Oh, Linda Ronstadt.
Yeah.
So
okay.
that was my show. I don't
it's pretty punk.
Yeah. Punk is whatever the fuck you want it to be.
It is. That's right.
Punk is fuck.
I can't tell you how many times the house I lived in my like mid-20s, how many times we would just be jamming to Pat Benatar and Heart in the kitchen and singing along and drinking. We had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah.
How was Punk Rock Bowling?
It was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
like
it was great.
We played in a couple of great spots. Like the first night we had the pool party show, which was us all.
Yeah. I mean,
bad cop. Like
that's fucking nutty.
Insane. Like one of those things where I was like, how do you
I've had so many weird run-ins with bands and like punk idols recently that has blown me the fuck away. Playing with All. Who that the fuck? Like I was listening to them in 8th grade. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like that's fucking weird. When
that lineup dropped, it dropped like I think we found out when the public found out, and we were just like, what?
Yeah.
So it was a really good experience. I hope we get to go back. Like it was definitely different than I thought it was going to be. Like I wasn't anticipating, again, coming from that place of like, do I belong here? Like I was anticipating having a lot of that. When we walked around, it was just it felt awesome. I don't know. It was cool to be in that.
It's also cool because like we're playing in a lot of different spaces that Boys That's Fire did. You know what I mean? Like it's a different realm. There was like one Boys That's Fire fan at Punk Rock Bowling, and he was stoked. You know what I mean? Like, but he did. It was funny because I saw him. He had a Boys That's Fire shirt, and I was like, "Oh, let me take a picture." And he was like, he had no idea who the fuck I was.
Oh, really?
And what was great? So we were eating dinner, and I saw him. I was like, "Oh my god, I've got," because Josh's son Jonah had made the shirt. And I was like, "Oh my god, I need to take a picture with you so I can send it back to the guys." And he was just like, okay. Like, and we took a picture. Later, he came up to me crying after the show,
No
like,
way.
oh my God, I had no idea who you were.
And
Yeah.
I was just looking at my food and I happened to look up and I was like, there's definitely a dude in a Boy Sets Fire shirt right behind you. Like the table behind you.
But it's funny because like punk rock bowling and stuff like that, there's people there that are like maybe have heard of it. That kind of hardcore and like punk, different worlds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah.
Cool playing in this where it's like you don't really have that a lot.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's a brand new thing for people, and they're like, this is the band that you're in.
Yeah.
Which is sort of cool. You know what I mean? Where
Totally,
it's
yeah.
just, oh, I'm here because I like that other band.
Yeah.
Well, what about this one? You know?
Right. Yeah. Talk about Iron Roses. Like, how and when did Iron Roses form?
Oh, that's a somewhat of a convoluted long
Yeah,
story.
like I guess the digestible short version is it was born out of Nathan's solo project.
Mhm.
I've actually had the opportunity to sing backing vocals on all of Nathan's solo albums.
Mhm.
And it felt like just as each album came out, it started to, no pun intended, it started to get a little less like you centered and a little bit more like full band sound. And I
Yeah.
think you got to a place where you're like, I don't want to be a dude playing a guitar or a dude.
Or a dude, period. But, you know,
you didn't even want to be a they
yeah.
or a she playing
And
music.
just playing guitar on a stage,
Yeah.
it was just so boring to me. Like it was good because I think like in the beginning of that, it was really my working through a lot of shit.
Mhm.
And when you're doing that on a personal level, it's easier if you're just you and a guitar playing sort of sad songs, you know,
Sort of.
Right.
of incredibly sad songs. Because I was speaking about like abuse I had gone through that I hadn't really processed or gotten help for. And then once I got through that, then I'm like, oh no, there's more. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
There always is.
All the layers.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so it was, but once I got through that, it was like, I really miss just being in a band. This isn't my thing. I don't really want to be like Lucero, you know, or something like that, you know, or like Chuck Reagan's great when he plays on his own, you know what I mean? But me, I was like getting lost in it. Like it was like, I'm sort of boring myself. Like,
Yeah.
so, but I would say that what's funny is that the real birth of the Iron Roses, no matter what happened right before this, literally took place in that studio for that last album. That's when we went, oh, fuck.
We're in it.
This is what we are. This is what we're doing. You know what I mean? Before that, it was still me sort of writing a lot of the songs and then them sort of picking it a little bit. But once we got into the studio, everyone, like we tore those songs to shreds.
Yeah.
And like everybody jumped in, everybody put their part in, and it was just like, this is what it was supposed to be. This is what it's always supposed to be. And so that I would say that was the true birth of the Iron Roses, was in the studio for that album.
The architects of misery call down from the battle rooms on high. They picket fights for you and I to gamble lost and set the price. But from the depths to the mountains, we struggle for our lives. The pushback is controlled by the same routine that keeps us scattered inside. Oh, I to be blessed with his life on a chain. While the fear that's inside you gets you better today. Agitated of living his way.
Don't know how to break it, but trying harder every day to rise up, strike a match, burn it down, and walk away. To rise up, strike a match, burn it down, and walk away. I'm still screaming for a change. I'm still screaming for a change. I'm still screaming for a change. I'm still screaming for a change.
Every song is so catchy and just
It's definitely one of those albums that like when I put it on, I just listen to the whole thing and don't like pick songs. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Like that is one I haven't bought it on vinyl yet, but I'm going to. And the only reason I haven't is because my the shit that the sound comes out of for my record player's broken.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of pointless to buy it until I fix it. All my shit's broken.
Are you broken? Do we need to have like?
Yo. Oh yeah, but that's a longer conversation.
God, yes, I've been waiting for someone to ask.
How did you get hooked up with the dudes from Breakin' Even Fest?
Our guitar player Pedro, who was probably one of the last, not probably, he was like the last big piece into kind of forming where we are now as the Iron Roses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pedro is one of those guys that fucking knows everybody.
Yeah.
Like he knows everybody.
I
And
know him a little bit.
Yeah,
see,
Just a
like,
little bit, but yeah.
Yeah.
you could do that. Like he's a people person. He's been playing music a long time for, a lot of different projects, and he just knows everybody. And they had actually reached out to us last year about opening a show for them in DC, which we did. And the funny story about that show is I think the day before American television.
Oh,
sorry. Oh, I
okay.
didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't
you
do
didn't
that.
say that. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they asked us to open a show, and it was right before our album had come out, and like we were jonesing because before that we were playing, basically Nathan's old songs.
Yeah.
And we had this album that we were about to put out.
Night.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
dying to just play those songs, so we just said fuck it, like let's just play our brand new album front to back, not say anything.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. And so we've kept in touch with them since then, and that's been about a year ago now, a little less than a year ago now. So when they invited us to play this, we absolutely said hell yes. And then it's even more special that it's going to be their last one, so I'm excited that
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah.
Be there for
Yeah.
that.
Yes, Steve is a great dude. I've known him for a while, and if you met Chris, their new lead guitarist.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris and I have been friends since we were teenagers. I go way, way back with him. So
I met him that night.
Yeah.
He was there and hanging out,
Yeah.
and he was so stoked about getting started.
Yeah, I think
It
it
was
was
great.
oh yeah, him and I used to ride around in cars when we were teenagers, like just blasting Boy Sets Fire. That's a
Nice.
good story. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If I was to ask you guys, like, what is your most memorable show that you've ever played? Does anything just kind of pop into your head? And it could be Iron Roses, it could be any other band you've ever been.
Why this is hard is because we dropped that album in October, and the amount of amazing opportunities and incredible shows, big and small, that we've had the opportunity to play in less than a year is just like, we're constantly like, how is this happening? Like this is happening. Holy shit. So we've had the
because the album's fucking rad. That's why.
Yeah, that's 100% why. It's true.
Testament to the album.
It's crazy though. Like it's just like the things that like we're asked to do and like opportunities we're given. It's just what?
Yeah.
Like this is great.
Yeah.
Like,
I
it's
couldn't
awesome.
even. It's only July, and I'm like cataloging through things, and I'm thinking, there's so many cool ones. But even like Whoza Fest, we just played a fucking incredible show at Whoza
That
Fest.
show
It was
great.
9 million degrees, hot as balls. Pedro put his shirt on.
Yeah.
We got to the table after the set, and I was shaking because it was hot.
I was having a
and
panic
so much
attack. I
energy.
thought I was going to die.
But it was front to back people, and like it were people that I've never. Like, it's one thing to play a show and to see people up front singing the lyrics who you know what I mean, like
right.
them on the internet or they're a fan. But that night was crazy to me because it was like I was looking out and there were people singing along to every fucking word that I've never seen in my life.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's brilliant. Something's happening.
Love that.
That's what it's all about. I mean, it really doesn't get much better than that. That's so
No.
amazing.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
But
Becky, have you ever played in a band previous to?
I have not at this level. So I always joked that I used to be like the Fergie of my scene. Like I felt like there were like 3 different bands where I would do like a song list. So I would record one song on their album and then like big shows. In Columbus, I grew up where I grew up. The venue that everybody played at all the time, every fucking weekend, was the Alrosa Villa, which is where Dimebag was actually shot. So that was the venue that I spent my time at every single fucking weekend. I would just get up and do a song with a band, or if 2 bands were playing, like that. So this is the first time that I've had the opportunity to co-front a band, and be the person behind the scenes doing all the this.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I don't think a lot of people who've never played in bands before don't realize how much fucking work it is to do all that stuff. Good God, yeah.
It's constant, but I wouldn't want to turn it over to anybody else.
Right. Oh, you would.
I would. Because nobody knows how, like, nobody cares about it the way that I do or we do.
Right.
Like, I always know I'm making the best decision for this because I want it.
Nathan, what about you as far as any...
I've never been in a band before. This is my first time.
If I was to ask you what your most memorable show was, does anything like shoot up to the top of your head?
I think, honestly, like some of the most memorable shows that I've played, especially with this band, have been playing in places that I've been before, but not with this band. You know what I mean? Being able to come in with the Iron Roses, and especially on the last tour we did in Europe, it was cool. You know what I mean? To be able to introduce people to what I'm doing now and who I am and what's going on. You know what I mean? Right. So like, I would say that whole tour in general, the last European one that we did, and playing Vainstream recently was incredible. Yeah. So it's really hard to pick out of those, you know, because each one, it's like this experience where I get to introduce what's happening now to people who have been around for like decades, you know, and that's a really cool feeling. That usually only happens really in Europe, because Boys Such Fire, we sort of, I mean, no better way to say it, we sort of fell off in the US and then we stopped touring in the US, you know what I mean? And so, but in Germany, enormous, you know what I mean? We could play to like, you know, 5,000 people and you know, and just like enormous like things, have our own festival, you know? So to be able to take this band over there was a big deal.
Yeah, it's crazy too, because like, you know, we talk to a ton of bands, and that just seems to be the common thread nowadays is we're going to Europe because that's where, I don't know what the fuck is going on in the US, but like, yeah,
maybe
it's sad is what it is. It's sad,
right. But funny enough,
not for Europe. I appreciate them. Yeah.
Funny enough, like this band has really gotten a foothold that I didn't expect in the US and Canada. Like,
that's
I didn't
awesome.
see that coming, but I'm stoked on it because I know it's not because of who I am, you know, or what I want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's because you guys put out a rad album.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That makes me happy, you know? Like, not that I want to shit on that legacy or like be like, fuck that. It's more of the fact that it's just like, it's honest and it's organic, and it's not just well, yeah, we'll give it a shot because of this.
Right.
You know, it's more like, no, I actually appreciate this. And that's a
Right.
really cool thing for someone who's been doing something for like 3 decades, you know,
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
and you know, want to do something new, want to delve into other things, and to have that appreciated is a huge thing.
Yeah, and actually, when Chris told me about you guys, because I had heard your name, but when you guys played with American Television, he told me, he was like, "Dude, you gotta check out the Iron Roses. They're fucking rad." So I listened to that album and I was like, "Wow, this is a fucking phenomenal album." It wasn't until Becky emailed me that I realized I saw the name Nathan Gray, and I was like, "Wait, like Boy Sets Fire, Nathan Gray?" And I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, I was like, "I already love this." Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
It's
that's awesome.
it's funny to play. There are times in the US where we've played shows or even festivals where like people have no fucking idea you're in that band, which would never happen in Europe
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
So it is kind of fun. It's like a fun little game.
Yeah, it's cool. It also speaks to your creativity and your writing, because you could come out with a different project and people want eat it up just as, you know what I mean? It must be a great feeling.
And it's very different, and it's very, you know, it's got a completely different sound and feel to
Right.
it. And it's nice. It's refreshing to be able to do that. Yeah. Just nice.
Yeah, good.
Hell yeah.
It's a great story. I love it.
Yeah, it feels great.
Yeah.
What are you guys currently spinning? Like, if you were to hop in your cars and drive somewhere, what are you listening to these days?
Well, if you ask us this week, it's probably
Yeah, I know it's
writing.
Yeah.
We've been writing this week, and so
Yeah.
it's a lot of playback of that. And
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We recently, like on social media, as you can tell, we finally established who this band is, which is hilarious. You know what I mean? And our friend Colin Clive from Mustard Plug has finally joined the band as second guitarist permanently.
Sweet.
And we have our friend Devin Hunt, who we knew from Massachusetts, has joined as the permanent drummer. And so all the parts that fit together now, everybody's locked in now. So because we've had a lot of trouble, just that revolving door of people. So a lot of it, like she said, we've just been like listening to ourselves going, damn, does that sound cool?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like one of the bands that I do listen to a lot, if I'm not doing that, Co-Defendants, I like a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, they're great.
Yeah, they're amazing. And trying to think. Oh, Vandaliers.
Yeah, God, they're good.
Yeah, I didn't really know who they were until we played with them at Punk Rock Saves Lives, and they fucking blew me away. Like their stage show, like everything about them, the energy of what they do, like just like, and we are pushing on them to take us on tour next year. Yes.
Yeah.
You're actually the second person who has told me to listen to them, or that they've been listening to them very recently. I need to check them out. Yeah, I haven't.
Just the energy of what they do is just it's
There's
a beautiful
so
thing. I love it.
Like unexpected pieces of it's fucking
because it's got like a very like country punk sort of feel, but then there's like little pieces of like ska and things that they throw in to like sort of amp it up a little bit, and it's great. I just
Where are they from? Where are they from?
Texas. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The only other band that I would say that I've been listening to pretty regularly outside of that is Lambrini Girls, who are actually on tour in the US right now. But they're, what did you equate them to? I made you listen to them, and
what did I say?
I don't remember, but they're femme-fronted, queer punk, like fucking crazy
almost
shit.
Industrial sort of sounding.
Yeah, they're
it's almost has like
they're intense,
crazy like big black feel, or like that like guitar driven industrial like it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, they're crazy bitches. I
Mhm.
like it.
Crazy bitches.
It's on the list now.
Yeah, get it.
So then after Breaking Even Fest, which is coming up in a couple weeks in DC, you guys are going on tour with Mad Caddies, is that right?
Yes.
Yep.
That's
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's what we're saying. We've gotten to play in front of so many different crowds this year.
It's
Like,
crazy.
we just finished the Motion City soundtrack tour. Like it's cool to test the waters with a
Yeah.
lot of different people, but Mad Caddies can be so cool.
And it's funny because Mad Caddies, it's like a full circle to make because Boys Sets Fire used to play a lot of festivals with them in Europe. And I remember just sort of hating on them a little bit because they were always like tuning their horns outside our bus. Like, and it would wake me up. Like I'd like wake up to like burr, 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 fuck these goddamn ska bands. And now I play in a band that has ska overtones to it. It's hilarious. But it's really funny because like when we got offered that tour, I was like, oh my God, that's so fucking hilarious. Because I remember every day I'd wake up and like Mad Caddies, oh my God.
Is that a like just an East Coast tour, West Coast tour, or is that what is that? Is that like a
It starts in Chicago and then just sort of does
it's like
this.
St. Louis, Minneapolis,
Yeah.
and it ends in Buffalo.
Yes.
So it won't come down towards like the DC, Baltimore area.
if it hit the East Coast, or at least the DMV or whatever, I would.
It doesn't come
We'll
close
be
enough, I don't think.
in November.
Yes.
I would definitely have been to that one because I am a longtime Mad Caddies fan as well.
You could always just book a trip. You're a guy that
Could.
would
That's
deserve a trip.
You deserve a trip. You're having a rough time.
You are.
Yeah.
You're
That's right.
That's actually pretty accurate.
If your
So-
player doesn't sound good, you need a
Get
break.
yourself a little treat.
it's you're not far off, believe me.
We were having this interview and then he just had a breakdown. out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
I'm gonna go get a bottle of scotch. Hold on. We'll break down some
Yeah.
walls.
This is the episode before I went solo because Matt
Yeah.
Matt walked away from his computer and never came back.
I never came back. Never heard from him again.
We don't know where he is. All right, I'm gonna ask you guys these 4 questions that we ask everybody on the podcast.
These are
not-
super important,
Yeah, very important questions. All right.
Pay attention all.
especially the first 2.
Yeah. Okay. The first question is: if you were on death row, what would your final meal be?
Oh, I thought you meant like the label.
No, well, or that if
Yeah.
they took you out to eat
you
at
can
death
take it
row.
that way,
Fuck
yeah.
that throw. Well, what the fuck? How did I get it?
Okay.
Guys, I can't rap that well.
So what would our last meal
Snoop
would be?
Dogg.
What would your final meal be? What would you want to eat last?
KFC mashed potatoes,
Mm.
Ooh.
like a pile of Haribo gummy bears.
Oh, so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Mine's gonna be stupid. I don't
Mine-
I can't like
No, but there's been some insane
that was
answers.
fucking cool. Like fucking mashed potatoes and gummy bears. That's
That-
all.
That is a
really
great
might,
answer.
That might be the coolest answer we've ever had.
Right?
That is a great answer.
Mine's gonna be like something dumb. Like I don't know. Like I like eating everything.
Yeah, Nathan is like a
I'm a goat.
goat. Like
Yeah.
there are a few things that you can
Everything.
put in front of Nathan that they won't
Yeah.
eat.
We have something in common there.
Olives is the only thing. I fucking hate olives.
You hate olives. Oh
You
no.
hate us. Wow.
Hey,
Ugh.
belly buttons.
Yeah,
They're
no,
so
they're
good.
awful. Absolutely awful. You
Well,
know
Matt,
what?
Matt,
Olive-
tell him. Matt, tell him how much you love olives.
I love Olive so much that I named my daughter Olive.
Oh
fuck.
my god.
Back it up, back it up, back it
Poor
up.
girl.
We need to
No,
Sorry. I you know why I hate
Yeah.
olives? I will get to that, but do you know why I hate olives? Because it's important. Because they look like they should be pickled. Like they look like they should taste like pickled,
Mhm.
and they don't, and that aggravates me.
I can see that actually makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Get into my issues a little bit here. This is like I literally I remember as a kid going, "Ooh, it's like pickles." No!
Yeah.
I'm never wanting them again. Like, but what would my fucking meal be? I don't fucking know.
It would be absolutely steak, like the fucking
Steak.
rarest, nasty steak,
Yeah. Dude,
Okay.
and some
good place.
potatoes so you could go out with your tummy hurting.
Oh yeah, because okay, so I love potatoes, but they hurt my stomach for some reason. I'm not
Okay.
really quite sure why, and I'm not going to see a doctor about it. I mean, come on.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would just. I mean, mashed
Explain.
potatoes. We could just talk about anything potato. I
So
would-
mashed. You'd go mashed.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
my
no, I don't care about the KFC. I like home style, like for
Lumpy.
real mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
I would get into that because what would it fucking matter? I'm about to die. Oh,
Right.
wait, I mean, I could eat all the things like, I'll just eat a fucking raw onion because I have really bad indigestion, like with like tomato sauce and onion because I'm fucking old. So grandma cannot tolerate certain things.
Yeah.
So I just eat all that shit. You know what I mean? Just munch it on an onion and like, I don't know.
Just make it as miserable for them as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cool. All right. Second question is, what is your favorite cereal?
Ooh. That's a good one. I do like it.
We had to add this one. This question starts so many good conversations.
I mean, it's hard because anything with chocolate.
We are so opposite.
I know. Is my jam. Like we're very opposite on this. She's very like vanilla and cotton candy cake flavored shit. Like I am. If it has chocolate in it, I'm fucking eating it.
Okay.
Chocolate like Cocoa Puffs.
Okay.
Even like when you get into like that Special K with the chocolate. Fuck, I'll eat the shit out of that. You know what else is good?
Oh my God, you guys got
shredded. I love cereal a lot.
That's why we added this question.
Cereal is one of my favorites. Like the little shredded wheat, the blueberry shredded wheats, and the strawberry shredded wheat.
The blueberry ones are the shit.
The blueberry one, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That shit. I would eat a whole fucking box of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so good.
Have you ever had the pumpkin spice one?
No.
What?
Yes, it's limited edition. I got it once. I forget where I got it, but it's if you like pumpkin and pumpkin spice, which I do.
July.
Do they have it out right now?
No.
Not right now. It'll probably be September. Check your grocery store shelves in September.
Tell them about your weird vanilla fucking.
Yeah, Becky, what about you?
It's because it makes the best milk at the end. Excuse me. Fruit, even though it's going to tear the.
Did you say Fruity Pebbles?
No, Fruit Loops.
Okay.
Fruit
Oh, Fruit Loops.
I would definitely pick Fruit Loops over Fruity Pebbles. Fruity Pebbles can go fuck them.
That's my Fruity Pebbles is my favorite cereal of all
That's
time.
Ron's cereal.
But there's a whole method to eating it though, because it gets so soggy.
So quick.
That's the thing. It's like paper. Like
Yeah.
But you gotta pour a little bit and eat it fast, and then pour a little bit more and eat it. You have to,
you do it smart. Okay, all right.
there's a method. If you're really into it, you could do it right. But
yeah.
See, I'm with you. Fruity Pebbles can go out the window. I'm like,
I'll take Fruit Loops all day, sure, but like Fruity Pebbles.
I did. You
yes, you did.
They taste the same to me. Fruity Pebbles and Fruit Loops. It's just different textures. The taste is the same. The textures are different to me.
Blasphemer. Here's the third question is, and they actually do this now. If you were to be cremated, they could take your ashes and form it into a vinyl record of your choice. So if you were going to have your ashes eternalized in an album of your choice, which album would you pick? And it has to be one that exists. Like you can't, like a lot of people are like, well, I would just make a compilation of like my favorite songs, but it has to be like an album that you could actually buy.
I mean, because I think it would be funny if it was like a compilation, but it was a compilation of like outtakes of songs we never used that sucked. Like me just going on it, like in my notes or something on my phone. I think that'd be hilarious to make an album of that with my ash. Like, just be like, damn it, no. Like,
release that all when you die.
Yeah. Oh, make money. But the two albums, it would either be the first Clash album, the self-titled Clash album, or Bad Religion Suffer.
Oh, sweet. Bad Religion Suffer is like one of the almost perfect punk rock albums of all time.
The only one that even comes close to it is No Control.
Yep.
We talked about that.
That's a factual answer. There's no.
Yes.
Everybody else is wrong.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
Matt and I have been validated once again.
Yeah.
All right, Becky.
Okay, so I had like the first thing that came to mind was super fucking dorky and like too meaningful after you just went off. So I'm scratching that.
I love ruining your hopes and
You
dreams.
were more than that. I don't know, because I feel like I would be driven to, me, I'm like driven towards like needing calm and peace, and because my brain is anything but. So like I would want to go out and be an Olafur Arnold, or a slow meadow album. So it would be between either of those two, but in an effort of conversation, my first instinct, I told you, I did preface that it was going to be dorky, would have been the original Godspell vinyl, because I had that, like, that was the first show, like, not the first show that I did when I was a kid, but the first one that really was like, holy shit, like being on the stage is something that is, I need this forever.
Yeah.
And I had that on vinyl, like, that I would use to practice my parts with. So, yeah.
Cool.
But
That's a good
also
answer.
Suffer No Control.
Yeah. I don't know
That was fucking cool. Nobody fucking said it. Cool.
It is cool. It's
my
dirty,
God.
but it's cool.
That's a good answer. It's the first too. So
yeah, it is. Yep. Do you remember the first piece of music you ever bought? It was funny because I was listening. I got a car recently, and I have like this 3-month free subscription to Sirius XM, so I've been like listening to it in my car. And Def Leppard Hysteria keeps coming up, and that was the first album I ever bought. Was like when I was in, like, I think I was in 5th grade, was Hysteria from Def Leppard on CD.
So the first thing that I literally bought, right? Is that's what you're asking? Okay.
Yeah.
Because that was, once I got into punk, it was the first thing I bought. I went to a used cassette vinyl place, and I got 1, 2, 3. I got 3 tapes, and no, 4 tapes. It was Black Flag in my head, all Roy Says,
nice.
Bad Brains, Eye Against Eye, and DI, What Good Is Grief to a God.
Nice.
Oh, all great.
Yeah.
All great.
Mine was definitely an Amy Grant cassette.
Yeah.
El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Shaddai.
Yeah.
Still making mine the lamest answers to that question. So
Probably another first on the show, eh?
Yeah, 100%.
The last question that we ask everybody is, who is on your Mount Rushmore of punk rock? And you get 5 people because we give you a crazy horse too. So 5 people, who would you put on your Mount Rushmore of punk?
And it's what you consider to be punk rock. There's no rules here.
Joe Strummer, Greg Graffin, Bob Mould, Sam McPheeters, Born Against.
Okay, cool.
Oh, great. I love that band.
Yeah. And what would be I'm arguing with myself in my head on this one.
Nathan Gray of Boy Sets Fire.
That's
a legend. I keep sort of going back and forth between like HR or Jello Biafra, but like both of them have sort of annoyed me also at points. So like,
yeah.
I mean, it's hard not to choose HR. That's a.
I know it is.
You know,
but
I understand the annoyance.
Like, but then there's also like Ian Mackay and Kathleen Hanna. Let's go with her.
Okay.
Because that was a huge moment in punk rock that was just like a giant middle finger. Like she was fucking incredible. Like just in the whole thing, pissing off literally everyone all the time. You know, I'll go with that. Yeah.
And the 5th one being the crazy horse is kind of like the wild card anyways, you know. So
right. So you gotta go. Yeah.
That's like the perfect answer.
Yeah.
This is hard.
Try to beat the most perfect answer of all time.
I'm not. I'm just gonna pick people that were like important to me and not necessarily like to what everybody considers important to punk rock. So
that's perfect though.
we've
that's
had
what
like
we're looking
people
for.
have answered like Little Richard has been on this list before from people like all
that's
sorts of people like
that's what we're looking for here. Yeah, because there's so people who listen, maybe they don't know some of those people, and they check them out and they love it too.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Elvis Presley, even though the more that we learn about him, the more we realize he ripped a lot of his style off.
It's true.
Um,
But he's still the king.
yeah, and important to me, like as a kid, like, yeah.
And Fat Vegas Elvis is so lovable.
Right? You could never have enough of those.
Yeah.
So this, I will also go with Tori Amos.
Oh yeah. She's punk as fuck. I don't care what anybody says. 100%.
Like that woman plays the piano. Like, how do you perform sitting on a bench? It's wild.
Yeah.
I'll never forget seeing her for the first time. So Elvis, Tori Amos, obviously Pat Benatar.
Also punk as fuck. I love these answers. Yeah.
I love this list because these are three people who have never made it to the. And maybe Elvis might have been on.
No,
there.
Elvis has been on there, but Tori Amos and Pat Benatar definitely have not.
Jeff Buckley, because he is my Elvis. Like, I remember where I was when the news of his death came out. Like, I was a huge fan of his, so like the loss of him was, a big deal for me, but also musically, like the way that he was unafraid to be gentle in his voice. I don't know, there's something about that I thought was, important. And then my fifth one, I'm gonna say, just for the sake of being unafraid to, it was really going to be a toss up between two people who are similar and one has been compared to the other. So it's either going to go to Madonna or it's going to go to Lady Gaga.
Oh.
I mean, both work.
I'm going to write in Madonna because I was obsessed with Madonna.
Yeah. And then that, honestly, like the reason that I wanted to pick one of them is because of their not being afraid to take up space. And that's important to me and like something that I'm learning. So obviously, she was the one that did it first, so we'll go with that.
This will come as a shock to no one, but there's a version of Madonna's Like a Prayer that she did live with this dance.
God, I know exactly the one you're talking about.
I lost it. I was like, I had to have been like,
I'm gonna have to watch it.
I had to have been like 19, I guess.
Yeah.
And I remember putting the VHS tape in and I was watching it. I'm like, I love Madonna, and I'm watching it. And that part came on. It was just like, like, fuck, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah. And then in the same right, Lady Gaga at that MTV Music Awards with the blood, and she's screaming and paparazzi. Fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
People who are afraid to take up space.
Yeah.
And to not always be pretty, even though like traditionally people think Madonna is beautiful, like not being afraid to not always be that. Yeah.
When I got into punk rock when I was a sophomore in high school, maybe like late sophomore in high school, and I remember a friend of mine once asked me right before that, asked me what kind of music I like, and my answer was Madonna. Like, he's like, what do you mean Madonna? I was like, Madonna. Like, that's what I like. I like Madonna. Like,
that is
I like. There you go. I love that.
That's all I listen to.
Like, Madonna taught me what punk rock was without even fucking knowing it before. I was introduced to it like not too far after that. But speaking of Like a Prayer, do you guys remember when the Like a Prayer video first played on MTV?
Yes.
And she kissed the dude at the end, and everyone in the 80s fucking freaked out because Madonna just kissed a black guy on TV. And I was like, I was a kid, but I was like, I don't understand what the big deal is. Why is everybody freaking out? Like, she just kissed a guy. And and then 5 years later, like, I find out what punk rock is, and I learned a lot of shit. And I was like, oh fuck, man, Madonna taught me how to be punk. Because I was like going against it. Like, fuck you. Like, there's nothing wrong with this.
She's so punk rock.
And constantly inventing herself and her image,
Yeah.
which I fucking love. Like, you
Love
should
that.
never be born and die the same person. Like, if you're not reinventing along the way, then you missed out on a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
100%. So all right, so you guys are doing the Breakin' Even Fest at the beginning of August 9th. Is when you guys are playing. Breakin' Even Fest is August 9th, 10th, and 11th at the Pie Shop in DC, which is an awesome venue.
It is.
Yeah.
And then you guys are going on tour with Mad Caddies. Let everybody know where they could find you online and all that good stuff.
We are on all the socials at the Iron Roses. So we sometimes use Threads, but mostly we're Instagram people because we're of that age, but we're not old enough that we only use Facebook. But we are on Facebook if you want to check us out there.
Basically, because when we post something to Instagram, it immediately goes to Facebook.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can also find us at ironroses.band. That's our website. We're on Bands in Town if you want to follow us there to find out when we're coming to a town near you.
We're on TikTok, but I don't keep very good
for that.
Yeah, I don't do very good maintenance over there with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't keep up.
Man,
I go
TikTok is man anyways.
Run away. Yeah.
I know it's popular, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks again. Thanks so much for doing this, and we hope to meet you guys at Breakin' Even Fest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's
It would
do
be
that.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a
I'll honestly feel like you're avoiding us if we don't.
Yeah, we will. we will see you there for sure. And we're super excited. And again, the album is amazing. And well, is it cool if we play a couple songs from the record on this episode?
Better.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, we'll throw them in there as
we'll throw one in the middle and we'll close the podcast with one as well. So
I love it. Yay.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much for doing this, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
And very nice to meet you as well.
Yes.
You as well.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
See you. Take care. Bye.
Young punks on the outskirts of boredom, tearing down with the perfect stardom. Life of the party, dancing on your grave tonight. No sleep till liberation, being backing down without a fight. 'Cause the kids are gonna be alright. They're never gonna do your right. If it's wrong, they don't wanna be right. The old guard falls tonight. Tell me what you're gonna do, 'cause ain't nobody gonna listen to you. Just another relic broken by your own decay. Next stop, annihilation, going off in a world you can't contain. 'Cause the kids are gonna be alright. They're never gonna do your life. If it's wrong, they don't wanna be right. The old guard falls tonight. Smash it up till there's nowhere left to hide. Smash it up, smash it up, smash it up. Push back with the heart they left behind. Push back, push back. Give them the groove. Hit the ground running. They don't know what they got coming. You got nothing to lose, kid, with time on your side. You got time on your side. Kids are gonna be alright. They're never gonna do your life. If it's wrong, they don't wanna be right. The old guard falls tonight. The kids are gonna be alright. They're never gonna do your life. If it's wrong, they don't wanna be right. The old guard falls. The old guard falls. The old guard falls. The kids are gonna be alright.
Hey guys, Trev from the Struggling Artist Podcast, and I want to talk to you real quick about Struggling Artist Record Club. The Struggling Artist Record Club is a vinyl record subscription service where I hunt and curate the best punk and punk adjacent music out there and mail their record to your door each and every month. Imagine finding your new favorite band from across the country without ever having to leave the house. It doesn't get much better than that. The excitement of discovering new music just got that much easier. As a member of the Struggling Artist Record Club, you are going to receive some of the best music you've ever heard from bands you may never even heard of. Whether you've been collecting records for years or just starting out, the Struggling Artist Record Club is designed specifically for you. And right now, all new members get a Struggling Artist Record Club exclusive along with the monthly selection. So head to StrugglingArtistRecordClub.com, pick a membership, and start building that collection today.
How do I do this shit? I can still hear you. So what do I have to press? Close.